And we are live. Hopefully everything is working good. Let me know if it is not. Can you guys hear me? Hopefully you guys can hear me and everything sounds good. We are live. I want to bring you guys some quick thoughts on WWE Survivor Series War Games. It's been about 2 months since I've gone live. So really, honestly, I just kind of want to test everything, make sure everything works. Starting next week, we will be live with live call-in shows. You know the deal. Raw, SmackDown, AEW, all that good stuff. So if you guys missed the live streams, I definitely miss doing them. But I just wanted to make sure everything was still intact. So this is not going to be a long live stream, just kind of giving you a heads up. But I want to talk a little bit about War Games Survivor Series. It was a very good pay-per-view in my opinion. If you guys haven't clicked that like button, that would be greatly appreciated if you guys can do so. But just keep in mind, next week we'll roll out the new stream style. So we'll be doing like live call-ins. We'll be doing a whole bunch of cool stuff with the graphics and animations and super chats and all that good stuff. Just really had to make sure my internet was working first and foremost. That's really the big thing. But shout out to everybody who has been watching the channel, staying supportive, and all that good stuff. I appreciate you guys for sticking with me. What did you guys think of WWE War Games? First and foremost, just go off in the chat. I want to read what you guys put out there. I'm going to put a poll on my community tab as always. I'll give you guys my thoughts. Only 5 matches. The pace of the show is actually really good. So yeah, I'm really curious to see what you guys have to say. That last main event match was definitely an emotional roller coaster. So that's that there's a lot more to talk about with that match than anything else. But yeah, I mean, this was definitely a strong pay-per-view in my opinion. Really excited about WWE and the direction that they've gone. So we'll definitely talk about it. Shout out to Cedric Gilmer, Justin Kennington. Shout out to the VIP members out here in the stream. Thank you guys for sticking with me. I appreciate you guys. The live streams going forward are going to be so sick. I swear you guys are going to love it. I'm super excited about doing the live streams again. Before I talk about the show, let's just kind of talk about that because I feel like I never really get to talk to you guys anymore. Live streams was a good way for me to actually communicate with you guys and kind of tell you guys the direction I want to go. But one thing that I really want to make very clear is the live streams for me, I had to take a break for them. I had to take a break from the live streams because we're all about interaction, and I've been trying to figure out a way to do a call-in system where you guys could call in, debate with me, give me your opinions and all that good stuff. And I just felt like my live shows weren't exactly where they should be. So now I've kind of figured out a direction of how I want to take the live shows, the Ango Show live. Also, we're going to be doing a lot of streaming on this channel. So I want to make that pretty clear. There's going to be like live streams during the day, and then there's going to be live streams at night for the review shows. So there's going to be a ton of live content on this channel, and that's why I took that 2-month break from live streams. Hopefully I answer any of your guys' questions, but yes, just get excited about them. There was a point in time where we were getting anywhere from like 500 to 1,000 viewers. I really, really want to start getting to the point where my live streams just get really, really big, and obviously part of that is investing into it. So I've made a big investment in some equipment and things like that to kind of help me go through the live call-in functionality and all that good stuff. So hopefully you guys stick with me for that. Enough about me. I want to talk about War Games. Overall, I thought it was a great pay-per-view. I'm reading you guys in the chat. Shamir Morton says Sami proved his loyalty to the Bloodline. Beautiful. That right there was the thing that got me emotionally hooked in the match. Honestly, like every detail was crafted very well, and I appreciate that from WWE. Really quick, shout out to Cedric Gilmer, by the way. He's been a member for 3 months. Shout out to you, Cedric. You're the man. Yeah, here's the thing, right? When you look at WWE, and it's a big thing to compare Vince McMahon and Triple H, but I think when you definitely look at every detail in the main event match tonight, it was very, 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 very well thought out. Jey Uso's in the ring first. Sami Zayn gets brought into the match. Roman Reigns sends him out instead of Jimmy Uso. He's testing his loyalty. And just the emotional investment that WWE got from me tonight was big. It was really big. And that excites me. It excites me to be drawn into a match where we've seen the storyline, right? And everybody's kind of wondering, like, is Roman Reigns going to turn on Sami? Is Sami going to turn on Roman Reigns? That doesn't happen. And WWE kept you guessing. When Sami Zayn attacked Kevin Owens, I think everybody knows that the long-term story here is eventually Sami Zayn leaving the Bloodline and being with Kevin Owens. Now, the moment that Jey Uso and Sami Zayn were hugging at the end of the match, like, I swear, I'm not joking, guys. It's not very often I go back and watch matches. That is something I'm going to go back and watch because the crowd went crazy. And if you like the pop that he got when Sami Zayn and Jey Uso were hugging, imagine what the pop is going to be when Sami Zayn eventually does win the tag team champions with the championship belts with Kevin Owens. That, to me, has to happen at WrestleMania. And that would be very, very good storytelling. And this is what I loved so much about that main event match. It was so well thought out. The emotion that they got from me, I felt invested. And the fact that we're sitting here as a whole talking about this show, it just goes to show you how different WWE's creative process really is in 2022 under the leadership of Nick Khan, Stephanie, and Triple H. I mean, you know, I see a lot of people, they're not convinced that Triple H is this guy behind such great television, but I don't know, man, these small details matter, and I think that there's a reason why everybody gets so excited to see what's going to happen next. Now, personally speaking, I thought the match was good, right? The match was good. I thought every match tonight was good aside from Ronda Rousey and Shotzi, and I am going to bury that match in a little bit too, but I thought every match was good. However, what I will say is from a storytelling perspective, I thought that's where WWE was really good tonight. And I mean that from top to bottom. I felt like everything was pretty much logical. And I'm going to explain why in just a second. In the chat, I see a lot of you guys are talking about how the match didn't need blood. And I actually agree. I don't think these matches need blood. Now, I am not one of those people that think you can't have blood in wrestling. Because when AEW does blood and guts, when AEW has the hardcore stuff, I feel like AEW sometimes could be a little too much with the blood. But sometimes it's necessary for certain circumstances. And I felt like with WWE, whether they had blood or not, it didn't really matter because there was some fundamental storytelling that was happening. You didn't really need the blood to make it a big deal. Now, with that being said, I do want to point this out very clearly too. The fact that they didn't have blood doesn't hurt. Had they had blood, it really wouldn't help. That's my opinion. It wouldn't have made a big difference. But I thought it was good, man. I thought overall the show out of 10, I would give it like a 9 out of 10. The thing here is that there's 5 matches on the card, which is very similar to the way that WWE NXT takeovers were. Obviously not a shocker considering that Triple H ran NXT. 4 out of the 5 matches delivered. Ronda Rousey and Shotzi Blackheart did not deliver for me. Personally speaking, I was not with it. I did not care for it. And it's not Shotzi's fault. And I see a lot of people saying Shotzi's not ready. The conversation needs to change. It needs to change because it's not Shotzi's fault that Ronda Rousey is just not that great in the ring. Ronda Rousey wrestles the way Vince McMahon would want her to wrestle. Shotzi Blackheart is more of like what Triple H would want, I feel like. And I feel like that right there is the issue, that Ronda Rousey, she's skilled at what she does, but it's not connecting with the fan base. I don't think people care. And I would rather see Shotzi eventually get the women's championship. I thought tonight was a good way to showcase, like, hey, like, we're introducing new faces and new storylines and new matchups, which I like that from WWE. I don't think Ronda Rousey needs the women's championship belt. And that kind of bothers me that the belt is still on her. But there was some things happening in that match. I genuinely felt like WWE was, if I'm being honest with you, I felt like with Ronda holding the title and the way she was wrestling, like, I feel like it's time for them to make a change, okay? Liv Morgan was fine as a champion. Shotzi would have been fine as a champion. But a lot of this stems from Ronda not having good chemistry with her opponents. And it's not a bad thing right now, but it will be a bad thing as you introduce more faces. Like if you want to put over a Candice LeRae, if you want to put over a Raquel Rodriguez, if you want to put over Mia Yim, if you want to put over some of the new faces, They can't be mixing it up with Ronda Rousey because I don't think Ronda is on that level. Now, you could put Ronda and Becky Lynch together and they'll be fine. You could put Ronda and Charlotte. I think they'll be fine. But I think it's an issue that WWE needs to fix. And truthfully, I think the way to fix it is just have somebody win the Royal Rumble and have somebody win the championship before Ronda or before the Royal Rumble, so that way Ronda doesn't go into WrestleMania as champion. My best guess is that WWE is going to do heel Ronda versus babyface Becky at WrestleMania. I personally don't like that idea, but we'll kind of see how WWE goes with that direction. But yeah, the reason why I give the pay-per-view 9 out of 10 is because 4 of the matches were really, really good. And one match, being the women's championship match, just wasn't that great. I thought Liv Morgan and Ronda Rousey was a way better match than Shotzi and Ronda. Couple good moments, but again, it didn't connect with me. We got a super chat. Albert Ponce, shout out to Albert. What's up, brother? He says, AJ and Finn killed each other in Theory winning. Wow, he is a future main eventer. The ladies all shined and Sammy is Usi to the max, and yeah, Ronda won. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much a great way to summarize how I feel about it. AJ and Finn Balor was an incredible match. I like it. I thought they have great chemistry. And personally speaking, with Finn Balor losing, it's the right decision from a storytelling and booking decision. The reason why Judgment Day kept beating up everybody was because they always outnumbered everybody. Now AJ Styles has the club, right? So it makes sense. I think it just makes sense from the perspective of booking and logic, right? Also, I want to point this out. The Judgment Day, I feel like, is really good, actually. Right now, as it stands, I feel like they've been really good with how they're progressing. I think Triple H has really improved the Judgment Day from when the Judgment Day first came up on the scene. I would love to see Edge and Finn Balor go back at it. I would love to see Beth Phoenix and Rhea Ripley go at it. But then I think it is time, after those 2 stories are told, I think it's time for Finn Balor to leave. But so far, everything's good. Like, I'm not in a rush to be finished with that storyline. But it's time to move on from AJ and the club. I think it's time for the OC and AJ Styles to do something else. I think Finn Edge needs to kind of be finished with, and then we'll kind of go from there. So a lot of great things to kind of expect in that realm. And then also, Albert did mention in his super chat, Theory winning future Hall of Famer. I can't believe how many wrestling journalists or analysts are talking about this on Twitter, saying that it makes no logical sense for Theory to lose the cash in and then come back and eventually win like 3-4 weeks later. This is the most ridiculous shit I think I've ever read when it comes to pro wrestling analysis. Theory's failed cash in led to a character change that is literally going to propel him to the future. That briefcase was holding him back. The finish was incredible. The triple threat match itself was incredible. Seth Rollins is awesome. He doesn't need the championship belt. I think Seth Rollins could be ready for Roman Reigns if they want to go that direction. I think Seth Rollins could be feuding with Bobby Lashley because at the end of the day, Bobby Lashley cost him the match. But I thought that match was exciting. I really thought for those two the AJ Styles Finn Balor match and the triple threat match, I thought those two matches really delivered, being technically mid-card matches, right? But ultimately, that was really cool. I think Theory is a future world champion. I think tonight solidified it. The new character has been working really good for him. His wrestling and chemistry with Seth Rollins and Bobby Lashley has been great. They're getting in some really, really good spots in those matches. But the finish was awesome. The spear, the suplex, Theory landing on top of Seth Rollins. Nobody looks weak. Theory looks good. I mean, literally, like, that's what you want, man. Like, I think wrestling fans sometimes, and this is just my opinion, but I think sometimes wrestling fans, they do get to the point where they want to see fresh faces and they want to see new people. And then when AEW or WWE gives it to you, they complain that it's not the person you want. And I think that needs to die down a little bit, because you got to get used to the fact that this is a new WWE, right? There's new faces. Now that Theory's a champion, right? Who could be a baby face that could, I don't know, take the belt away from Theory at some point? Maybe at Royal Rumble, maybe at Elimination Chamber, or any of these upcoming pay-per-views. I mean, I'm just throwing ideas out there, but Theory is a heel, right? Who could be a really good baby face to take that belt off of him? I don't know, maybe Johnny Gargano? My point is, there's a lot of options now that a heel is holding the title. And again, Theory does look like a world champion. In the future, he'll definitely be a world champion. He reminds me a lot of a young Randy Orton, a young John Cena. So that does absolutely excite me. And you got to remember, Theory won the Money in the Bank under Vince McMahon's direction. So that was a Vince McMahon problem. Triple H had to fix it. It took a little bit of time. He fixed it. So Triple H restored Austin Theory. I mean, it's simple as that. That's essentially what happened. He restored Austin Theory. Nobody took a loss. I mean, Triple H is killing it with these pay-per-views. So I get excited now about the potential future. And like I said, there's some baby faces that could definitely take the belt off of Theory. Gargano would probably be the one I lead with. But it just takes time for people to get acclimated to who he is and what he's about and his character and all that good stuff. So thank you, Albert, by the way, for the super chat. Appreciate you, brother. The women's War Games match, I don't really think there's anything I have to say that's not already been said in the chat. It seems like everybody in the chat is praising this match, and I definitely think this match was really good. Logical, good storytelling, great spots. Io Sky, sorry. Everybody just delivered, man, and I feel like WWE has gotten to the point, especially with the women, like Rhea Ripley and Mia Yim and Nikki Cross, like everybody was getting in spots on this match. So as a fan of wrestling and looking at fresh faces being inserted, it's kind of nice to see everybody's getting their chance to shine. And I like the fact that commentary is making an emphasis on these people who are starting to shine. So that was like a really cool thing for me personally as a wrestling fan. I did enjoy seeing Mia Yim get some really great spots. It was really cool seeing Asuka do the mist on Rhea Ripley. Obviously, the finish with Becky Lynch, by the way, she's been out with a serious injury, comes back in her first match as a War Games match. She does the leg drop, booty drop, elbow drop, senton drop. I don't know what the hell you want to call it. She basically just jumped off the top of the cage, landed on both of them on the table, broke the table, got the pin. Really good. Really, really good match. And again, everything just kind of seems logical there. And I think that's the best part about these matches. Again, everybody has their own little taste on what they want from these matches, and that's fine, right? But it's cool to see WWE in a situation where they are giving people their chances, people are taking advantage of it, and everybody is getting a freaking spotlight. And this is something I keep talking about. It never changes. I want people to be given their spotlight. I want people to be given their chances when it comes to these wrestling matches and these shows. Everybody should have a story. Everybody should have a vision. You should be able to kind of project the vision and the future for each wrestler that's on the show. So for me personally, I like the fact that the women's match definitely made sure of that. Rhea Ripley is the person I want to win the Royal Rumble, by the way. Early prediction. Rhea Ripley is probably... her and Bianca will absolutely kill it, but she's just so good. And before, I'm going to be honest, before the Judgment Day, I was kind of worried about Rhea Ripley and where she stood on the main roster, but I am excited to see what they're potentially going to do. Albert Ponce just dropped another $5 super chat. He says, anyone not sold on Theory, go back and see his evolution from his time in Evolve to now. Rhea looks to want Bianca. What's next for Bayley? Hey, I would totally be cool with Bayley going to SmackDown, taking the belt off of Ronda Rousey. Sasha Banks could return at the Rumble, win at the Rumble, challenge Bayley, beat Bayley for the title at Mania. Rousey doesn't need the title. I agree. I used to watch Evolve. I used to go to the shows as well. I went during WrestleMania weekend a couple times. Then they came to Detroit. Austin Theory, guys, this guy has evolved so much. No pun intended. It's great, man. It's great to see what they're doing. And it's kind of like, I think a lot of people will disagree with this, but I think when I look at Austin Theory, I look at Austin Theory, I look at, excuse me. I look at Legado del Fantasma. I look at Imperium. I look at, just some of these guys on the show, Butch. I look at, Mia Yim, great example. I look at some of these faces that maybe wouldn't have been pushed years and years ago. And I like to see that they're excelling. I like to see that they're evolving. I like to see that they're given spotlight. I like to see that they're given direction. When I see these people given direction, I think like it makes me anticipate more. And a great example of this is Preston Vance from AEW. And I don't want to talk about this too much, but Preston Vance is a great example of somebody who we always knew he was going to go solo or go away from the Dark Order. It was just a matter of how they were going to do it, when they're going to do it, timing. And AEW just did something phenomenal with Preston Vance, aka number 10 from the Dark Order. That they're delivering to the fans what should have been expected, right? And it's a good thing to see that in wrestling. I like to see fresh faces being introduced and fresh storylines being introduced for people and the spotlight being introduced for people. And it's like for the first time in years, I feel like the last 6 months of WWE specifically, I feel like every person that's been brought into TV, I can kind of get an idea of what they're going to be doing in the future. And I'm starting to get an idea of what the future of WWE looks like. And I think that's just a really good thing. Thank you, Albert Ponce, for the second super chat. You are awesome. I definitely appreciate it. Wow. Yeah, this was definitely a good show, man. I like I said, there's really not much I could complain about except for that women's match. The singles match for the championship. I just wasn't too fond of that match. And again, it's not on Shotzi Blackheart. It's just, I think there's a chemistry issue, truth be told, with Ronda Rousey and a lot of her opponents, and I think it kind of shows. And it's not something that can't be improved. I just think there's a disconnect there for me personally. I don't think it's her on a personal level. I just think there's a chemistry issue, and it's becoming a disconnect. But the great thing is the fans in Boston tonight were very happy with the show, and I like seeing that. So very, very good stuff, man. I really enjoyed the pay-per-view. I think Triple H has not missed when it comes to these pay-per-views. So I give him a lot of props, man. I feel like WWE has done a phenomenal job. And yeah, I look forward to seeing what's next. So those are my quick thoughts for WWE Survivor Series War Games. I'm all excited about Sami Zayn. I'm excited about the Usos and the Bloodline and watching that storyline continue to progress. I'll be back live on the channel starting Monday. Guys, pay attention if you're not in the Discord. Things are about to change massively for this channel. You may have thought I slipped up or maybe got a little inconsistent. Don't worry about that. These live streams are coming back. We're going to have the greatest wrestling live streams on this channel. And it's not just going to be post shows. We're going to do daily stuff. We're going to be interactive. We're going to have you guys call in. You guys will have a chance to call in. There's going to be a lot of great things happening. So I appreciate you guys for stopping by. It looks like my internet is working good. Everything seems to be good. Next time you guys see my stream, it's going to look a little bit different. Plus, there's going to be some new features and some new things that we're going to be introducing. But you guys will see that Monday. I don't want to keep up too much of your time because WWE has the press conference. So thank you guys, everybody, for stopping by. And shout out to Albert Ponce for the Super Chats. Guys, Super Chat Championship is coming back. Don't miss it. I'll see you next time. Thank you guys for watching.